Notre Dame political scientist Patrick Deneen, quote, liberalism has failed. He's speaking here of classical liberalism, the liberalism of individual liberty. Liberalism has failed, not because it fell short, but because it was true to itself. It has failed because it has succeeded. The founders failed to foresee that their atomistic philosophy would act as a solvent on our civic institutions. That's quotation one. Here's quotation two. Author George Will. The proper question for conservatives, what do you seek to conserve? The proper answer? We seek to conserve the American founding. George Will, let's get back to the founding principles. Patrick Deneen, let's refound the country. Let's overturn the original founding.
They both strike me as a little bit too abstract. You know, there's things about them that sound correct as observations or critiques, but how to concretize it, I don't know how we go back to the founding. If there's going to be a new founding, that's even more, you know, ambitious.
You're like the majority of 6 conservatives or originalists on the Supreme Court?
Sure, but mostly they're mostly just keeping things the status quo the way it is. So it's yeah, it's better than the alternative. Look, Deneen is right that in some sense classical liberalism has failed. I always like to say that a classical liberal in 2022 is like a Marxist prof in 1982, where you had these profs who 40 years ago were saying, you know, true communism has never been tried, and it's equally wrong when the classical liberals in 2022 say that true liberalism has never been tried, and there's some kind of a golden age we can go back to, and even if we did, wouldn't we just cycle and repeat? It would just, you know, if we went back to the 50s, we'd get 68 again, and so there was something wrong in the 50s, or there was something wrong with the founding if it went this wrong. So that's why I'm more on the Deneen side than the George Will side. I do think you know, the place I always come back to is I think we have to think very hard about these questions of technology and science, because they are such big drivers of modernity. I don't think we can turn our back on them. But we have to figure out some way to keep going on this trajectory, and not to go crazy, not to atomize the whole society, not to self-destruct it. But I don't think you can go back on science and technology. But those are the sets of questions I would ask a lot more about, and where I suspect both Deneen and Will are weak on the details.
Okay.